England in 1215 was on the brink of chaos. King John sat on the throne, but his government was falling apart. His lands in France were lost, his treasury was nearly empty due to constant warfare, and his own nobles, the barons, were angry. And when nobles get angry, they don't just grumble, they rebel. King John had a reputation for being unfair, taking whatever he wanted and treating the barons as if their land, money, and power were his to use as he pleased. He raised taxes without asking, confiscated property, and even imprisoned people without a fair trial. England was in trouble, and the people had had enough. Now, the barons weren't trying to take the crown. They just wanted things to be fair. So they made demands. They wanted King John to agree to a set of rules. Rules that even the king had to follow. And if he didn't, well, the barons were prepared to fight. They even captured London to show how serious they were. Faced with growing pressure and the risk of civil war, King John had no choice but to meet with the barons. And so, on a field called Runnymede, by the River Thames, the king sat down with them. The mood was tense. The barons were determined. They handed King John a document, a list of demands, and this document would change history. It was called the Magna Carta. On June 15th, 1215, King John reluctantly signed the Magna Carta. It was a charter or an agreement that said the king couldn't do whatever he wanted. For the first time in England, a king was agreeing to be limited by law. He promised to protect certain rights, especially the rights of the barons and the church. But even ordinary people benefited, because one of the most important parts of the Magna Carta was the idea that no one could be imprisoned without a fair trial. It was a huge moment for justice. Of course, King John didn't actually want to follow these rules. He hoped to ignore them later, and the peace didn't last long. Just a few months later, war broke out again. But the ideas in the Magna Carta survived, and over time it became more than just a peace treaty between the king and his barons. It became a symbol of liberty and justice. The Magna Carta's legacy has echoed through the centuries. Its ideas influenced the American Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. It helped shape the notion that no one, not even a king or a president, is above the law. And so, from that fateful moment in 1215, when the barons forced King John's hand at Runnymede, the world began to change. The Magna Carta marked the beginning of a new way of thinking about power and justice. It wasn't perfect, and it didn't solve all of England's problems right away, but it set the stage for the freedoms we still cherish today.